Hi, this is Leo Sunday, and this is Sunday on Sunday, episode uno, dos, cuatro.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Tres. I forgot tres. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. 4. It's episode 4. Trying to be cute, and I'm not editing that out, so you can laugh at me all you want. I'm very excited that you've chosen to take a look, and I'm so grateful to all of you who have been. I just heard my dog, Lexi. She's grateful also. I'm just grateful, Lexi and I, that you have decided to share this with your friends, that you're watching, that you subscribe to my new channel. It's very cool. Thank you. So far, as you know, the theme of this podcast has been about music creation, and about the community that we're building here in Central Connecticut. All lovers of creating of music and sharing it with each other and developing together as a community and a family. And I thought for this episode, I'd introduce you to, and many of you already know this person and this couple and this band, but I wanted to our new folks to introduce you to a really successful person and songwriting team. They've been together for quite a while, and they're going to tell you about that. And so today's episode is going to be about them. And so I'd like to first introduce you to Denise Jones, and she could introduce you to her partner there.
This is Tom Seksvenski.
All right, and both of them have been around for a while. So we're going to find out a little bit about that. Denise and Tom, why don't you start, just tell us a little bit about your background.
I'm from Connecticut. I moved away. I was gone. I lived in Vermont for 15 or so years,
Okay.
and then came back and then really enmeshed in the music scene.
Okay.
So I mean,
And when you say Connecticut, Meriden, you were from Meriden?
Yeah, I was not born in Meriden, but my mother was,
Right.
and I live in the house that my grandfather built.
Wow,
so,
that's
yeah,
cool.
so we're definitely Meridenites all the way. So when I came back, I didn't come right back to Meriden. I was in Rocky Hill for a while, but
Okay. Right.
everything's full circle, so I'm back now.
Yeah.
And Tom did as well. He grew up in Meriden. We both did.
Okay.
Not
Did-
far from each other.
Yeah, and I want to get into that a little bit. But before we do that, I know a little bit about Denise, and one of the things I do know, she sings in church.
I do.
And did you do that all the way growing up, or is that more recent?
Yeah, I when we moved here in '77, and now everybody can do the math. When we moved here in
The
'77,
year I graduated high school.
Oh, so sorry.
It's okay.
My mother immediately returned to the church that she went to growing up, and was actually married in and everything, Holy Angels, and they had a folk group, and so I went right into the folk group, and like right out of the gate as soon as we moved back here. So I was 8 or 9. So
It's really interesting to me to meet musicians who have become successful that find so many have roots in church.
absolutely.
You know, church music is something you sing every week. You get comfortable with performing,
Yep.
and that's a cool thing. And you're doing something to serve others, just like you're
Yes.
doing now.
Yeah, still, yeah.
Yeah. So where would you say right now you are in your career?
I don't know. That's hard to say because I just about a year and a half ago I stepped out of the corporate machine.
Right.
So that is something I did not ever for most of my life think was going to happen. I wanted to do music as a career early on, and best laid plans, that didn't happen. And then I've been in the gift industry. I went from the gift industry to stay-at-home mom to healthcare, which is so bizarre. So, I'm not sure where I am at now. I'm doing it full time now,
Okay.
which is good,
Mhm.
and I'm setting down roots, which is good,
And you're recording
and
quite
I'm
a bit.
recording, which is great.
Writing
So
stuff.
these are all things that I would not have ever imagined. I mean, we put out the first EP, I was over 40, right? We were over 40 when I put out the first EP. So I feel sometimes like I'm catching up, like I'm making up for lost time. So right now we're playing out as much as we can. I'm writing like crazy.
Well, we'll talk more about that too,
Yeah.
because you have a great following, and you're loved out there. That you have a lot of fans, and it's
Oh,
growing.
that's nice to hear.
It's exciting to see that development. Wonderful. So we kind of touched on this, but Tom, you've been hanging out with Denise for a while. You've known her for quite a while, right?
Yeah.
Why don't the two of you share the connection that you both have? You mentioned Meriden, but that I heard a rumor that goes back a ways. What do you want to tell us?
Goes back to
1977.
1977.
1977. And yeah, like Denise said, you can do the math, but we have a graphic to show you that can show you
Oh, yeah,
more
where is it?
about 1977. Where are those
Where are the
photos you
photos?
showed me? Why don't we grab the one in third grade?
Do the digital picture.
Yeah, well, and you can send me those too. But
He didn't know what he was getting when he opened.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. I thought I was getting pictures of the actual band. So here's the original, and we didn't mention your name yet, but your name of their band is InnerGroove, and here is the original InnerGroove. It's your job to figure out where Denise is and where Tom is in this photo from this was 77?
1977, yeah.
Wow. Okay, and I'll put we'll put a digital picture in so you can really study it. That is so cool.
Yeah. So that was first day of third grade.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was the first friend I made here. Moving.
Oh,
I had just moved here from the West
I thought
Coast.
you were going to say, and that was what grade? Third grade.
Third grade.
I thought you were going to say Tom was pulling your hair or something. That's how you met.
No,
No,
he was the first one to even say anything to me when I walked into the
Wow.
classroom on the first day of school.
That's
So-
very
Yeah,
cool.
we've always had a thread of music,
Always.
always
Yeah.
between us.
That's cool.
Even the greeting.
Yes, when the first thing he said, "Hi, I'm Tom," and then he asked me right out of the gate, Beatles or Elvis, and
Good for
I
you.
came from heavy country, like
Yeah.
my family, so I shudder to say this, I had not even heard of the Beatles. I mean, I was 8, so
I'm going to have a conversation with your mother.
yeah, I know, but I had heard of Elvis, and so only because, and I didn't really know, but because I knew the name, so I said Elvis, and he said wrong, Beatles, and that was how the relationship started. So
I could. Boy, if you really knew this couple, you could see that happening.
yes,
We sang together in.
we sang together in Up With People.
Oh,
when we were
okay.
in elementary school. Yeah.
That's very cool. I remember that. Up with
Yeah.
people. Yeah, very nice. And so, when did you really start like collaborating on music that you're doing close to now? But I know you've been writing for quite a while.
Yeah,
We tried. Well, I tried to
Yeah.
get Denise into a group when we were 16,
never let me live
and
this
we have a
down.
mutual
That's right,
friend.
I think you
we
told me
call-
that story, right?
Yeah, and I had a meeting with Denise and her other band,
Yeah,
and didn't work out.
it didn't quite work out.
No,
We'll leave it at that. It didn't quite work out.
that's why
But-
timing's not always right.
Yeah, that's true. Timing is everything for a reason. I tell people that because if we had been connected even through our 20s, I think we might have killed each other. We're both pretty passionate and
Yeah.
pretty hot-headed. So
Yeah.
now it's been since 2000.
Nine?
Well,
10.
no, it's 2010, end of 2010, maybe 2011. I think
Yeah.
January of 2011 was one of our first.
Well, that's a
gigs.
chunk of time. That's 14
that's
years.
a long time now,
Yeah.
yeah, which is so strange. It doesn't seem that long.
Denise was
fly.
in a band singing backup,
Yeah, he
Of
was a,
Grateful Friends?
no,
That was
no,
another
before
point.
that,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
and I came to see them, and I told Denise, you should be fronting the band, not singing backup.
There you go.
Yeah,
Well, that was great advice because definitely Denise is a front person
Oh,
for sure.
thank you.
So speaking of that, how about we hear a song?
Sure.
Maybe something from way back, maybe from the first CD, or you have probably
Yeah.
something you want to play.
No, we can do
I'd
something.
like to hear
from-
something that's new later.
Oh yeah, nothing's ready yet.
That's
I mean,
okay.
maybe we'd have to come
The
back
newest
because
then,
we're,
because
because
I have a favorite of
Oh,
yours.
I know, and I will play the favorite.
Okay,
But do you
well-
want to do? Let's do She Doesn't Know.
Okay.
That one's off the first album.
Beautiful. All right. Take your.
Ready? She's got a long, tall list of things to do. For everyone that's crossed off, it's like she has two. She'd like to sleep all day and all through the night. Sometimes it's easier than keeping up the fight. But she doesn't mind, it keeps it real. She keeps in mind the way she feels. She doesn't mind for what it's worth, which is the price that she gets from her rebirth. And she's learning to be all alone with her thoughts. Gives her time to think about the battle she's fought. And she used to curse him, but now she prays that her essence of faith will help her stay this way. And she doesn't mind, it keeps it real. She keeps in mind the way she feels. She doesn't mind for what it's worth, which is the price that she gets from her rebirth. Home, she feels at home, and she knows it's not her own. 'Cause in a blink, it could be done. So she's mindful as she moves along. When she finally sits down at the end of the day, does a little check to see if she's okay. She doesn't know how it ends with the seeds that she's sown. She only knows the measure of how much she's grown. And she doesn't mind, it keeps it real. She keeps in mind the way she feels. She doesn't mind for what it's worth, which is the price that she gets from her rebirth. It is the price that she gets from her rebirth.
All right. That's Denise and Tom on the song titled
She Doesn't Mind.
She Doesn't Mind. That was fantastic. Just
Thank
loved
you.
it.
Thanks.
Anybody need water? You're comfortable? Everything's good?
We're good.
Great. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, I wanted to pick your brain a little bit, is I've been going to Nashville a little bit over the last couple of years, and we're starting a trip where every month we're taking aspiring songwriters and accomplished songwriters to Nashville. And the purpose of the trip is to develop the networks and learn a little bit about studio work and all things related to getting our songs advanced. Now, you've had some experience with that. So I wanted to just ask you about, we have a little joke between Denise and I call, anytime I introduce her in an event, I say, Nashville recording artist, sensation Denise Jones, because she really has recorded in Nashville. But why don't you tell us about how that connection happened and your experiences with that?
Well, that has a lot to do with our producer, who was up here. He's a friend.
Right.
And we met him. We met him through church.
That's right.
We met him through church.
Actually, Denise and I both play at church
Yeah.
together
Right.
still.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
And Asher was
Asher
usually
was
the drummer,
usually the drummer, even though
Okay.
he's a multi-instrumentalist.
and he's a songwriter.
And he's a songwriter in his own right. And we had an EP that we did. It was a less than ideal experience for us. We had started to go back to the same studio when we decided we wanted to do a full album, and it didn't start well.
Gotcha.
And I was very discouraged. I was actually like, I said to Tom, I said, you know what? I don't think we're going to do this. I don't, even though I was writing, like when he
Yeah.
we started as a cover band, but when he found out that I was writing, he was like, oh, we should be doing that.
Beautiful.
So, there was a gentleman also at church, who was our worship leader.
He's a songwriter too.
Also a songwriter.
Okay.
His Dave Swanson.
Dave Swanson, who had a studio, Legend Studios in Ava. I think they're now in New Hartford.
Okay.
And because we knew Asher, who was a multi-instrumentalist, he came in and he was working on the first album with us, with Dave Swanson. And it just went well. And it was the experience was so much better. Like, I was ready to just throw in the towel with it. And it's really, and this is the first song. That song was the first song we brought to him. So,
it's a lot of energy, good energy.
good energy, really good collaboration, and
a lot of creativity.
and then we went. He was working. I think he started working a very niche market. Dave did.
Okay.
So at the same time, Asher was opening up his own studio. So for the second album, we went to him for the second album. I'm very pleased. Just another great experience.
Yeah.
And then Asher decided he needed to move down to Nashville.
As many musicians
Oh
do.
my gosh.
It's not called Music City for nothing.
Yeah, and I was like, you can't go. Like, what am I going to do? And he said, well, you know, when you're ready for number 3, I think you're just going to have to come down to us.
And what's number 3, your last CD?
That was our last CD, Tales from a Silver City.
And we're going to hear something from that in a
And
little while.
yeah, and
Can't wait.
we went down, and it was we were there. We worked in the studio straight for 5 days. So
Wow.
Yeah, Asher's an integral part of the team.
he really is. Yeah.
He's like the third part of the duo.
Yeah, and he's our George Martin. I think he's just really he's the glue. He finds the midpoints on the places where, you know, we struggle to find a compromise, and he brings something to it. I think he brings things to it that we would have never thought of.
Right.
So
You know, one thing, and I think sharing this with our audience would be good. You seem to be very flexible and very allow Asher to help you develop
You
something.
have to
But
be.
that's because of the trust that's been built, right?
Yeah, and and I was just gonna say, it's a trust. He knows us now.
Right.
We know him, and we didn't even. It's not even that we knew him well when we first started working with him, but it is something that has been been built, and you have to give it that time to do that. And it's not about having an engineer who sits and just records it for you.
Right. It's
It's
a whole
about
different
a
thing.
producer.
Right.
He has input. Yeah.
Right. Now, he also the engineer at his studio, or does
He
have
does.
somebody?
He does everything for us. In this last album, we used him for mastering as well. Our second album, we did use a guy who masters, and a guy in Nashville that Asher sent us to,
Gotcha.
who was wonderful.
But now he's got the equipment and doing it.
Yeah, and you know, and he's just, by the time we're done, he knows that material back and forward.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Well, that's exciting. Well, I hope that we don't have to do it now on camera, but I want to get all his information because I would love to take our group there on one of our monthly trips and go visit. I'm trying to get, because I'm hoping our folks will be regulars because they'll start coming on a monthly basis to develop their own networks. And I want them to see a different studio every month.
Oh, that's great.
Nice. We're going to a guy by the name of Chris Condon, who's the music director for Billy Ray Cyrus this month.
Oh.
And not sure next month yet, but I'm thinking November might be a good month if Asher has like an hour. We'll talk off camera about that. That is fantastic. I guess this is a good opportunity for us to talk about. You mentioned 3 CDs, and then the next one I'm assuming you're going to record with Asher. And
Absolutely.
So you're going down there in a little while, right?
We are. We're going down in the beginning of October.
Yeah,
So.
and things are not quite ready to share with us, but that gives you something for the future. Maybe after you've got that one out, we can do another episode and introduce the world to whatever. Do you have a title for the album yet?
No, not yet. I mean,
Wow.
we go down just, the magic happens in the studio. So
It's exciting. Who else going down with you this time?
So it'll be Tom and me, and we've asked Chuck Peterson back, who did all of the drums for Tales from the Silver City.
Wonderful.
He was just a joy to work with.
That's great.
So he's got family and everything down there, so he comes on down.
Nice. And Asher's getting you the rest of the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you can't go wrong with Nashville folks. So.
No,
Chuck is
you
from
can't.
the band, you should mention.
Oh, he's from the band Thaddeus Black, which is a local band here in Connecticut.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Good plug for Thaddeus Black.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this third CD a little bit, because I know I'm going to get you to play a song from it. Yay!
Yes, you are.
But before we do that, I'm just trying to. I think it'd be kind of nice to play, and then I'll just say a little something at the end. So let's talk about what might be coming up? I know you just talked about the CD. Do you have any important gigs coming up or events that you're doing?
Well, we just finished. We just played CT Folk,
Wow.
and that was like a very big
Yeah.
bucket list item for
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but for me personally. So we just did that, and we have things here and there, but we're going to be also at Best Video on October 12th. We're going to be, that's a double bill with Steve and Claire.
Nice.
So I'm really looking forward to that, and that's original material. We kind of have one foot in each camp right now, you know, between covers and originals,
Sure.
but Best Video is going to be originals.
Well, you've built a following InnerGroove has with covers. I
Yeah.
know I saw you this summer. Of course, the originals were my favorite part of the concert, but you were killing it with some of the covers you did.
Yeah.
And those of you that know Denise, and she'll show it off a little bit, but it's hard in a small acoustic setting. She's got an amazing killer voice, and she can soar up there with the best of them.
Oh, thanks.
So she demonstrated that when I saw them this summer at the Twilight concert series in Meriden. I'm trying to. I don't want you to. Where can they find your music?
Okay, so we have a website, and I think we're linked to get to Facebook and Instagram from there. The website is igrooveforyou.com.
Okay.
That's IGROOVE, number 4, letter U.com.
Cool.
And that also has our schedule, everything that's upcoming. But we
Okay.
are on Facebook and we are on Instagram, and the albums are on like all streaming platforms. So
Okay. Beautiful.
yeah.
All right, we're at that point now. I'm so excited. Tell us about the song you're about to do. And
Okay, well, the song that we're about to do was the single off of our off of Tales from the Silver City,
okay.
and it's an actual place in Meriden, Connecticut, and it was like a hangout spot. And you know, I don't know if somebody knows, if anybody knows if it's still like that. It was a hangout spot when I was a kid in high school, and we hung out there a lot.
But it is the entrance to the
But
bike
it's
path.
the
and
entrance
everything.
now to the linear trail,
Yes.
yeah, in Meriden, and there's a little bit of history in the song because it's amazing what you can find with Meriden history. That album, that third album, is an homage, basically, to Meriden. So, I mean, we have another song that mentions a plethora of things about the city, but once you start like finding out everything that has gone on in Meriden, it's really amazing.
Yes,
Like we used to have a recreational beach,
Yes.
which is
Right
right
there,
down in
yeah.
that same area next to the linear trail and Red Bridge. So Red Bridge,
Red
is
Bridge.
the place.
Yeah. And I have my
And-
own little story about it I want to share. If you look at the cover picture to my whole podcast, the Sunday on Sunday video podcast, there's a picture of me at Red Bridge with my cowboy hat on that I took because Denise did a
I
little
did a little
contest
thing,
early
yeah.
on, yeah. So there's
There it is.
you can tell I like that song.
Yeah, and if you have pictures of Red Bridge, you know, post them. Post them
right.
to Leo's site. I'll see them.
There you go.
And I just think that's the coolest thing. And it's a kind of a freakish thing. We've played all over the state, and when we play this song,
Right.
random people come up and say, "I know Red Bridge," or
Right.
"I lived for 10 years in Meriden," and so I'm just amazed at how many people. I thought no one would know it, but I'm actually amazed at the handful of people who have been approaching me saying, "Oh yeah, I've been there. I've been on the bridge." So
Oh yeah, it's a popular place.
yeah.
All right, let's hear Red Bridge.
All right, so this is Red Bridge. 1, 2, 3. Meet me at Red Bridge, baby. I will take your hand on the trail and we will walk. Meet me at Red Bridge, honey. I will take my time at your stride and we will talk. We will talk.
was fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Tom, and thank you, Denise, for coming here and sharing your story
You
and
bet.
your music on our podcast, our humble beginning podcast. It is growing, though. I'm very encouraged
Good.
how well they're doing.
Good.
So,
You guys need to tune in.
yeah, please do. Please tune in. And thank you all, again, who are subscribing. But if you know somebody that doesn't know about us, let them know. That would be helpful to our channel. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Next week, we're going to be featuring our actual trip to Nashville. We'll have lots of cool footage of that. And who knows what kind of mischief we can get into down there. Until then, have a great Sunday on Sunday.